It has happened to all of us once, or rather, many times throughout our lives. Suddenly we stopped in our tracks, a little perplexed, confused, looking around as if searching for something, and we ask ourselves, "I was going to do? What was he looking for?" If at that precise moment someone were to ask us what we are doing, our answer might be, "I do not know, but I'm sure he was going to do something, that he was looking for something." Then, almost by chance, we put our eyes on a cup, a book, a miserable spoon, and it is as if a flash of lightning illuminated our brain. Immediately we remembered what we were going to do, or what object we were going to look for, and that momentary but profound forgetting is finally resolved. It is probable that at that moment we consider that we have not paid too much attention to the task, or that it was so inconsequential that we have forgotten it on the way. But what really happened was something else. And what happened is the threshold effect, the experience of reaching a room and noticing that we have forgotten what we were going to do or to look for it there in the first place. Some time ago, a group of researchers from the University of Notre Dame published an interesting study on the subject, entitled, "Walking Through the Doors Causes Forgetfulness, Walking Through Doorways Causes Forgetting." The study yielded very interesting data about our memory failing more often when we cross the threshold of a door, even a door that separates two rooms in our own house. In this sense, the threshold effect is a phenomenon that we have all experienced on more than one occasion. Let's go to a practical example. Imagine that we are sitting quietly in an armchair at home watching television. At some point we decided to go for a bottle of water. When the kitchen arrives we are invaded by a sense of unreality, of some confusion. We cannot remember what the hell we were going to look for. Perhaps we remember that our intention was to look for something and take it back to the armchair, but we did not remember what it was. We may be lucky and casually see a bottle of water on the counter. In that case we will immediately remember what was the purpose of our expedition to the kitchen, but if we do not have that luck it is very likely that several minutes will pass before we finally recover the memory. Apparently, the threshold effect not only perplexes us for a moment, without remembering at all what we were going to do, but crossing the threshold of a door can cause us to forget completely what we were about to say. Now, crossing the threshold of a door is not what causes forgetfulness, but it occurs from time to time because short-term memory works better in the context in which the information originated. This is known as the encoding specificity principle. This principle establishes that, in order to recover some of the memory, the brain uses the specific information stored, but also the information provided by the situation, context, or environment in which that memory was originally created. In other words, it is easier for our brain to remember something in the same place where that memory originated. When we cross the threshold of a door, the context changes, and memory can fail, especially when the task that we were going to perform in the other room, or the object that we sought, are unimportant. Having said that, and to return to the previous example, it would be enough simply to return to the room where the armchair and television are, that is, to the place where the decision to go to fetch the water bottle originated to remember everything, but the threshold effect works so well that this is rarely successful. Every time we make a decision, even minimal decisions, such as going for a bottle of water while watching television, the brain assesses its immediate importance. Once its value is established, it is kept in the memory until the useful life of that decision finally expires. Unless we are dehydrating in the chair, the decision to go for a bottle of water has a low qualitative value, and is optimized within the short-term memory. That is to say that if we do not quickly resolve what we had decided to go to look for in the kitchen, the brain will purge that information considering that its usefulness has already expired. That is why you probably remember quite accurately what time you woke up today, but hardly at what exact time did you drink your second glass of water or juice or coffee in the day. This means that it is not necessary to cross the threshold of a door to forget small everyday things, but it is a factor that contributes to the resetting of short-term memory. Apparently, our brain likes restoration points, almost as if it were an operating system. Some experts have chosen a boastful name for this appetite, model of events in the representation of memory. Basically, the fact that crossing the threshold of a door is a perfect moment for the brain to purge irrelevant memories recently acquired. When changing physical context, for us, of environment or room, the brain deduces that the superfluous data that it has filed in the previous space are less relevant now that it has changed places, and then it eliminates them. But just like an operating system, nothing is completely eliminated from the brain. That is why it is highly probable that if we casually look at the water bottle, we suddenly remember that this is what we had gone to look for in the kitchen in the first place. The next time we are suddenly perplexed, without knowing exactly what we were going to do next, or what the hell we were going to look for or say, it would be interesting to look back and see if we have indeed crossed the threshold of a door.